I hate when these things go to sleep. Hello, 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 Facebook family. 6:59, and we are live on Facebook. And I'm trying to navigate my way because we're trying to get back on Instagram. And so how's everybody doing? Is there anybody out there? Can we get some highs, some hellos? Elevate Facebook Live. I used to try to keep the session number, but at this point, I don't even know what session we're on. 6. My wife told me 6. We're on 6. So anybody out there, we'd like to hear from you. I know it's a little early, and I got a big surprise for you. Something that I know you guys will be very happy with. Huge surprise. Huge surprise. So it is 7 o'clock, so we like to always start on time, and I'm trying to make sure we got everything set up. Basically, just want to go over, our little housekeeping here. Thanks for everybody joining us. Really appreciate the well wishes when I was down. It's just lovely to have a lot of people, reach out to you, whether it's on Facebook or text or cell phone, email. It was very appreciative for everybody to reach out. I'm feeling strong today. I mean, last week, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was weak. I remember sitting there talking during this Facebook Live, and I would start talking, and I would forget what I was talking about. I would be like, "You're supposed to be thinking." That's what would be going on in my head, and it's amazing. So I looked at it, and I felt like I was about 60% as far as thought processes and focus last week. So I'm very excited to be back to normal. If I don't know if you can see it, but that arm right there, that's really way up here, because that's how strong I'm feeling right now. Feeling real strong. So anyway, now we got anybody out there? We got anybody out there? 701. Mother Brenda, we depend on you. Miss Karen, Miss Ann, there you go. Hey, Mother Brenda, it's good to see you. Good to see you on. I wanted to start this out a little different. I had a couple jokes I wanted to share. I think my Auntie Stephanie, she already knows the role. She put in there Pflugerville. So we got Pflugerville in the house. Auntie Stephanie. We know we got College Station with Mother Brenda. These are funny to me. Now, we've had some debate in the house about how funny they are. I think they're hilarious, and I wanted to share them. But it's just a couple jokes. And while we're waiting for people to come on, I wanted to share a couple jokes with you. The first one is, there's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator. Only a fraction of people will get this joke. You get it? That's hilarious. That's a hilarious. Shar, hello. You don't know? She don't like the joke. What do dentists call their x-rays? They call them toothpicks. You get it? Josh Michael, what's up, man? Coral Springs, Florida. You're supposed to stay in Central America until we got our money together to fly down there to see you. Good to see you on here, Josh Michael. What do dentists call their x-rays? Toothpicks. You get it? Toothpicks? I know you guys can't crack, it's probably too hard to really crack up on the text strand, but I know that's hilarious. What did one ocean say to the other ocean? Nothing. It just waved. You get it? Just waved. See, my wife's laughing. She didn't think she's laughing.
You get it?
She's laughing. She don't want to admit that these jokes are funny. What did the fish say when he swam into the wall?
That's right, corny.
I definitely said it's corny, but what did the fish say when he ran into the wall? Damn. That's what he said. And I guess we'll stop. I got a lot of these. I got one more. What do you call a can opener that does not work? Oh, Josh told me to stop. Yeah, this is the last one. These are hilarious to me. But what do you call a can opener that does not work? A can't opener. So anyway, that's just we're trying to get everybody on. But see, Mother Brenda supports. She says I'm killing it. Shoot, forget this gig. Shoot, I'm going to Vegas. Do some stand-up comedy. So anyway, I thought those was hilarious. When I read them, I said, man, I got to share this to the group. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Anita at the Richmond Resource Center. They doing things out there. You know, some people are. She reminds me a lot of my Aunt Stephanie. They're in and my dad, who also does a lot of work with youth. I mean, they're in the mix. They're making things happen day in and day out. So I wanted to make sure I give a shout out to Anita. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. So appreciate you coming on. And I always love when we see people we don't always see, and especially guys that I wish I was still working with, like Josh Michael. I really enjoy working with him. Gifted. Things are easy for him. And you don't see many people like that. And Josh knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's a little cocky because he knows it. He just, some things are just easy for him. I also want to just kind of do what we normally do. Most of you know me. I'm Curtis Carr. I've been in leadership for over 30 years. I've been in a training capacity for over 15. I'm the founder of E.L.E.V.A.T.E. My wife and I do this consulting agency. The E stands for expectations, the L for leadership, the E for ethics, V for vision, A for attitude, T for temperaments, and the E for effectiveness. Kermit Moore, thank you. It's good to see you on here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on. So E.L.E.V.A.T.E is an acronym, but basically we do seminars and we do consulting. So who are we here for? Maybe you're an individual who's looking for personal development. We do that. Maybe you're a new or existing leader and you want to sharpen your skills. You want to get the results that you're not quite getting the results that you want, or you want to speed up the process. We work with you. Maybe you're a business owner looking to increase sales or scale your business. We work with you. We talked about the business plan. My wife posted some stuff. If you want to look at last week's post, she posted some information about SWOT. Or maybe you're a leader or employer looking for somebody to come into your company and do some work with your leadership team. And we do that also. So we'll do it all the way around. How do we do it? The first step is we want to find out what you want, what you're trying to get accomplished. So we do what you call a questionnaire and assessment. And we have different levels of assessment. And because of time, I'm not going to go into all of it. Each week I try to give a little bit more, but there's some great questions in there so we can get to know who you are. You can't just come in and just tell somebody what you think they ought to be doing. And you haven't even got a chance to get to know them. So, Josh and Michael, I got to stop on this one. He says, appreciate you, confidence booster. Josh has no problem with confidence. This guy is gifted. He has no problem. He came to a meeting where a lot of the corporate directors were, and he blew it away. And to this point, there's nobody since he came or before he came that made that kind of impression. And I'm saying it now because I probably didn't say it then. I told you did good, but I mean, that's how great it was. So I had to throw that in there. Miss Tamika, hello. You missed my jokes, Miss Tamika. I had some good jokes. So anyway, hello, Dad. My dad, that means my mom is there too. I hope y'all didn't miss my jokes. We had some great jokes. So anyway, we do it by assessments. We also have free strategy sessions, but we also do a 30-day strategy session, which is not free. And we also do a 90-day strategy session. So you can imagine each one is a different level. We dig deeper. We have an ebook out that covers topics on leadership, overcoming challenges, and having the proper perspective. So definitely we have things available, and the e-courses are coming out soon. So I just want to move on. I know several people have put out their cities so far. If the rest of you guys can just kind of shout out your city, where you're from. And I'm going to have to contact Josh Michael to figure out why he's in Florida. But it's great to see people from different places. Just kind of fun to look at it and see people from different parts of the world, actually. So yeah, it is unfortunate you missed those jokes. I'm gonna have to fill you in later on. So what we do is we conduct these Facebook Lives and we depend on your comments. So please keep commenting. We really would love you to like and share, because this is how this works. That's how you get the word out, liking and sharing. Laga Vista's in the house with Tamika. liking and sharing. We really appreciate it. And then today, what we're going to talk about is making the most out of conflict. I love this one. I love this one. I really love this one here. Because just basically it's an area of weakness, and over the years, you're just forced to work on it if you want to progress. So, my dad put on there Cedar Park. Appreciate it, Dad, posting. I know my dad's probably tired of it. Every week he has to post Cedar Park on there. So but we appreciate you posting it every week. But before we get into the nitty gritty about making the most out of conflict, what I want to do is just kind of come from a Destiny Banks. Thank you, Houston, Texas.
That's our cousin.
That's our cousin?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Destiny. You're in the greatest city on the planet, Houston, Texas.
And Vicky.
Vicky, Hutto, Texas. I graduated from Pflugerville, so I know exactly where you are. We used to get beat by them in sports. But how to make the most out of conflict. So before we go into the nitty gritty about this, you really have to have a stance, a posture, a disposition that you flow out of when you're dealing with this. So I really want to kind of go over what that stance should be and kind of describe it. So like when you're overwhelmed, because this is an area of people, this is a people area, of course. So you're going to be dealing with conflict with people. So you kind of have to have a posture of how you're going to approach this when dealing with people. So when you're overwhelmed, what is your stance? Because when you're overwhelmed, you're going to have a lot of emotions going inside of you, and it's going to affect the way you deal with this conflict situation, right? So there's a quote. It says, if it feels like it's you versus the world, chances are it's really just you versus yourself. And I love this because at the end of the day, we all do it. We're trying to accomplish something and it's not happening. And we say those people, hey, if they would do this, and people ain't like they used to be, or hey, people are just selfish, they're self-centered, they don't listen. This generation this generation Y, this generation X, So but at the end of the day, we have that us against the world mentality. And what you have to do is you have to have a posture that you flow out of, because it's natural, it's human nature to operate like that. But it really isn't you versus the world. It's really you versus you. If you're not having the success you're looking for, Ashley, Bernard, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Cousin, can you post what city you're in? And don't tell me. My wife is gonna tell me what city. Don't say it. Just can you post what city, Miss Ashley? So if you're coming from your disposition has to be, well, it's me, because the world ain't changing. The chances of you changing the world is very slim. So it's best to understand it's you that has to change. And that's one element of it. Another thing is when you're dealing with people, and listening is paramount. So you're dealing with conflict, right? You really have to have a stance. You have to have a posture of how you're going to flow when it comes to listening. And I love this quote. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. And I think it deep down in us, sometimes we're afraid to hear somebody else's reply, because we're like, no, you ain't changing me. No, you ain't changing me. You just have to listen. And a large part of the conflict would dissolve because the person just wants their side to be heard. So very important that your stance, your posture should be one of, hey, I need to make sure that I listen. So when you're coming into that conflicting situation and you're dealing with that other person, your posture, your stance has to be one of a listener. Okay. What do you do when you're dealing with people and where you get angry? What is your stance on how to display or how to show anger? What do you say about that? You have to have a stance. You have to have a posture. What is acceptable to you? I love this quote. It says, a leader is always wrong who speaks in anger. So these things that I'm saying now, these are my actual stances. When I speak in anger, I'm always wrong. That's my stance. So now when I'm dealing with conflicting situations, I'm coming from that. Kermit Moore, College Station, Ashley, Houston, Texas, the greatest city on earth, Houston, Texas. So the last one is when you're not getting results. What is your stance? What is your stance? So here's another one that really kind of depicts the mindset. Man is not in this world to set it right, but to see it the right way. And right seeing is the passport from illusion to the heaven of accomplishment. So when you're not reaching a certain goal or accomplishment, you're not there to set the world right. You're not seeing the world the right way. Daryl Shaw, man. It's so hard to stay focused when you're doing this, when you see stuff like this. Michael came on there earlier, Josh Michael, and now Daryl Shaw. Anyway, Daryl Shaw, we worked together forever. We worked forever, you know. He know me probably better. He definitely know more stuff about me than my mom and dad and some issues, you know, but Miss Ann. So anyway, Daryl, thanks for coming on. Miss Ann, we got to create a plaque or something. I don't know. We got some shirts. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the growth formula. We got some shirts, and we're going to send out to some of our faithful supporters. But Miss Ann and Miss Karen, I know you're close by. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Welcome, my friend Kermit Moore. Thank you, Kermit Moore, for coming on, giving us a shot. I really appreciate it. So when you're not getting results, we're not here to make things the right way. We're here to see things the right way. And it's two different dispositions. So when we're dealing with conflict, what is our stance? So I told you my stance, and what Elevate stance is that we understand that here we're not going to make things happen. We're going to try to see things the right way. When things are not happening the way when we're not getting the results we want to get, we got to go back to them and say, okay, what am I not seeing right? I'm not seeing something right. When I'm angry, understand that there's no way that I can operate out of anger. Anything I say out of anger is going to be wrong. That's my stance. I know that I got to listen, because if I don't listen, the person's not going to be able to feel like they unloaded their frustrations, because I'm not connected. So I have to listen. That's my stance. And when I feel like it's me against the world, I understand it's just me against me. That's my stance. So then when you have that stance, now you move to the next step and say, okay, how do I make the most out of conflict? Well, now you're ready. You're ready to make the most out of conflict. Christopher Watson, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Active listening. So he must have read my notes, because we are not there yet, but you're right. Active listening. Thank you, Christopher. So now we're ready. We're ready to go to make the most out of conflict, because we have the proper stance. We have the proper viewpoint. We see things the right way. So now when we're in that conflicting situation, the first thing is, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of conflict. I think I talked about it a little bit before, was that we don't want to make the fool's choice. The fool's choice is to either not say anything or go off. It's like, you know, if I say something, man, I'm gonna go off. You know, so I'm not saying nothing. So that's like the only two choices. Go off or not say anything. And we don't have that option. You know, forget about this just being a leader, just being adults. We have to be able to communicate. So we can't be afraid of it. And when people say, hey, those are my two choices, really, they're operating out of fear, right? They're operating out of fear. CSTAT Texas in the house. CSTAT, where's CSTAT? CSTAT Texas. Christopher Watson, where is CSTAT Texas? I know my dad already. College Station. Oh. See?
Yeah, but you told jokes.
Yeah. See, that was just a joke. See, I knew exactly what you're saying, Christopher. I knew exactly what you're saying. So, anyways, when you make a mistake on live Facebook. So anyway, I'm really trying to figure out. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of CSTAT. So, thank you, Miss Brenda. Thanks for the support. So anyway, first step is don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of conflict, you know. Number 2 is stay calm. And this is probably the first time we're not going to have an acronym, a nice, pretty, tied with a bow acronym. So stay calm. And I think this. I know I can speak from my experience and the people that I've talked to about this. It's basically, it's hard to stay calm because you already against what they're saying before you already heard what's going on. You're already upset, and you're just waiting for them to shut up so you can say your side. So anyway, it's hard to stay calm if you don't have your stance. If you don't have your, okay, when I'm going into this conflict, this is how I'm going to be. This is what my disposition is going to be. But if you understand, if you have that stance, it's a lot easier to stay calm, you know? So number 3 is understand the other person's point of view. So you should be asking questions when they're going off. Ask some questions in there, you know. So is it this you're upset about, or is it that you're upset about? Is it the way I said it, or is it what I said? Is it did I come at you the wrong way, or is it because you heard it through somebody else? You know. So at the end of the day, you have to understand the other person's point of view. You repeat back to them when they say, hey, it's because you said it the wrong way. So it's because I said it the wrong way. I got you. So that's my fault. That's my fault. Or why did I hear it from so-and-so and not from you? Okay, I understand that. Okay. So it's because you heard it from so-and-so that got you really upset. So you repeat it, right? So understanding the other person's point of view. This is the one I love. Read facial expressions is number 4. Because a lot of learning can happen when you're having that conflict situation and you read those facial expressions, because you can tell when you're making progress by the facial expressions. You can see that they're becoming at ease. You can see that they can tell that you're active listening, right? So you can see that if you're paying attention to facial expressions. Nod your head sometime. Those kind of things go a long way. So if you're getting anything out of this so far, can we put some 1s up? If it's unclear, we can put some 2s up. So can we get some 1s and some 2s? If it's clear so far, if we can put some 1s out there. If it's unclear so far, put some 2s out there. It's hard to do with the mask. Need to learn to read the eyes. Oh, yes, that's true. It's so true. I didn't even think about that when I was, with this information. I didn't even think about it with that. And it's funny because I'm going to tell you my experience lately is that people just take off the mask when they're upset. They're like, forget COVID. They're like, I'm going to take this mask off and tell you what I really think. But yeah, it's definitely, you got to read the eyes. So it looks like there's clarity here. That if there's anybody that is unclear, just give us a 2. If everything's okay, we're going to keep on moving. And the 5th one is be aware of your own body language. We all know the different things out there that communicate certain things. Oh, here we go. So somebody been reading my notes. Josh Michael, body language will help with the mask. True. Sister Colleen, thank you. But be aware of your own body language. So if I'm sitting here like this, like this, that's not a posture of receiving. So we understand what body language is. So being open, hands to the side, a lot of eye contact, not looking other places while they're talking. The lips, just making sure that you have an open stance, making sure that, you give them a little space. You're not like 3 inches away from them like you want to fight, So basically be aware of your own body language. And then at the end of the day, after you got this information and you did, the active listening, you understood the other person's viewpoint, you find a solution. That's a win-win. And I mean, it's doable. It's not like most people are not asking you to do something impossible. They want to be heard, and they feel like they got slighted. So you have to make sure in the situation you find a solution that's a win-win. And when I say a win-win, you represent you and the other person represents themselves, and we got to find something that works together, and if you're a representative of a company, then it's something that works for the company too. So a win-win. So remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find resolution, and we got to come back together and work together, right? And we got to come back and work together as a team. And I'm going to tell you, every single time, if you do this right, the team is closer. So it's very important that we don't be afraid of it, that we stay calm, that we understand the other person's point of view by asking questions and repeating back the answers to them so we can make sure that we're on the same page. We read facial expressions, their facial expressions. We're aware of our own body language, and that we find solutions that are a win-win. So very, very important. Very, very important. So, and just remember, we're trying to find resolutions so that we can come back and work together as a team. So that's how you make the most out of conflict, And to me, the core issue is you have to have your stance. What do you believe in before you even enter into that conversation? How are you going to deal with anger? How do you feel about when you don't get results? How important is listening to you? You know, how are you going to react when you're overwhelmed? So those are the things, definitely, Aunt Stephanie, be informed of cultural differences. Definitely. Definitely important. I worked in some areas where there's a lot of people from the Middle East, and they communicate different. They're a little bit more aggressive, or and you can't take it like it's an attack. That's just the way it is. So what if they're trying to push your button? I know what I've done before. I say, hey man, certain things you're saying is like you're trying to attack me, or are you trying to attack me? I just ask them. Are you okay? Or it seems like you're trying to push my button. I've actually said that before. It seems like you're trying to push my button. I'm not trying to fight you here. That's what I've said. And most of the time, they know they were trying to do it. I don't tell them that they're doing it. I just say it seems like, and then most of the time that works. Um, uh, so the next thing is, I just want to kind of go over. I know it's 7:25. We're big on getting out of here on time for you. We really appreciate everybody. Like I said, I want to thank my wife again for getting on there and doing the live when I was down, and stomaching the one when I was sick and didn't realize. One day I'm going to tell the story. I mean, it was crazy. I was up here and I was like in a daze. I was like in a fog. I knew I was doing a live, but everything was like delayed. I don't know if it was the medication or the sickness or both. I don't know, but it was a different type of experience. But really appreciate her supporting me. And I wanted to also just kind of go over what we're going to talk about the next few sessions.
Karen's question, remember?
Oh, Karen's question. That's right. I wrote it down too. So much for writing things down. So Karen last week said, how can leadership training help you in your personal life, such as being a leader in your family, marriage, groups, or friends? Thank you, our sister. She said you did an excellent job on the broadcast. So basically, it's challenging. I mean, of course, Shar makes it easy because Shar is a grown woman. I mean, she's grown, she's mature. It makes it a lot easier. So when I mess up, she kind of expects it, So as far as being in leadership, how it affects your personal life, I learned in my current situation right now, I just need to stay out the way in a way. I need to stay out the way, try to do things that can help out, but not mess up because there's already a good thing going on. So that's the biggest challenge for me, is knowing when to step in and step out. But it definitely, the leadership training helps you because at least you're sensitive to that. You're not somebody that's trying to come in and make it your way, So you're trying to give everybody room. So definitely 7:27. So the things that we'll talk about in the future is your secret weapon to creating cultures. This is an awesome one here. We're getting into temperaments here. Basically, we talk about there's 4 different types of temperaments out there. There's passive, perfectionists, pushers, and people persons. And of course, there's blends. We get into that. So that's your secret weapon for creating cultures. That's what we're going to talk about. The following week is If I Was a Superhero, ... the ellipsis. That's one of my favorite. It's hard to say this because all of them are my favorite, but If I Was a Superhero, that's something we're going to dive into. How to find a solution every single time. That's the week after that. The week after that is 3 words that sum up every human being. 3 words sum up every human being. So we're going to discuss that. Kermit Moore, thank you. The next week after that, we talk about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Basically, there's 4 disastrous ways in having relationships, whether they're friendly relationships or maybe more intimate relationships. Either way, there's 4 disastrous ways to have relationships, and we call them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So the last one, well, it ain't really the last one, just the last one we have written down right here, the 5 stages of a new leader. A person gets in, they're brand new, and we talk about the 5 stages they go through. And basically, they go through 2 stages, and then they reach a fork in the road, and they got to decide if they're going to go left or they're going to go right. So that's what we talk about. So definitely really appreciate. Please like and share. I think, and I'm going to ask my wife if she's okay with this, but she's probably going to have to, it probably was going to be wanted to do. There's so many people saying you did good. They're probably going to want to hear you. So she's looking at me and turned away, but, but, we definitely can have her back on. But it's a consulting agency with both of us, So definitely highly skilled, very effective. So what we'll do is we'll discuss that. But as a 729, my little tagline, when exiting these calls is going to be, don't forget to focus on growth and elevate now. Don't forget, focus on growth and elevate now. Thank you guys for coming on. You guys have a great night.